schedule, our presenters are going to be chosen at random. And so I'm going to be pulling the names from this beautiful mug right here. I don't even know the order, but it's like startup roulette and nobody knows what's next or what's going to happen. So presenters, stay on your toes. This will be great practice for you. So let's find out who's kicking things off for us tonight, shall we? The first pitch. Nice. LUNO. LUNO transforms everyday vehicles into comfortable, convenient campsites, turning the road into your trailhead and your car into your base camp. Joining us tonight is founder Peter Ducato, who is a seasoned entrepreneur and strategic product strategist with a passion for building brands that blend design and impact. Welcome to the stage, Peter. There we go.
The clicker. All right, awesome, thank you. All right, hello everybody. All right, today I'm going to be talking to you about LUNO. So let me go ahead and I'm going to start it off with a story. So just as all startups, there's probably a nightmare that has happened. So I'm going to start out with our nightmare. This is me driving a forklift in the early stages in Ventura, California. And I had been driving to our little warehouse that we had. We opened up our first 40-foot container. This had all of our pre-sale units in it. You're seeing some crushed boxes on the bottom of it. The pallets had been tilted over, and as we were using the forklift to take them off, everything was kind of just falling all over the place. So we did eventually get it all off, and this is us packing up the first order and some of the team that had started out with us. This is me thinking everything was packed up, everything's good to go, and everything's grand. But little did we know that we then inflated a mattress on that day, and all the inflate valves were where the deflate valves were. So it was a functional mattress, but we had thousands of products that were all essentially wrong and incorrectly made. So this was during COVID. We were not able to have boots on the ground in Asia. And we had our team spend 2 days on crafting this email here. We worked with a company to build patches to kind of direct the people to correctly inflate them. And all but one person out of over 1,000 orders said yes to accepting the product. So we were super grateful for that. So I'm Peter. I am the founder of LUNO, but also a lover of the outdoors and have been in Bend for about 3 years now. And yeah, I just have been really enjoying bringing this brand to life, and it's been quite the journey. So I'm going to kick it off with a little about LUNO here. So we were privately held. We started in 2018, and we conceived the idea then. We create gear for the back of vehicles so you can camp comfortably. We have about now 14 actually full-time campers, so employees. About 9 are here in Bend, and then rest are remote. And we offer our product in USA. We have a couple nodes on the East Coast and here in the West in California. We opened up Canada and Australia, and we'll be in New Zealand this fall and their spring. And I just want to give a shout out to our team and our mentors here in town, and just wanted to say thank you. Very grateful for this opportunity for them to be along with us. So here's a little on our company evolution. As I said, the idea started in 2018, 2019. That story that I spoke to in May of 2020 is when we launched. We are a COVID baby, so we had then sold out in about 3 months on that first order. And then we moved into the van category. We hit 2.6 million at the end of 2021. We expanded into a few different regions like Australia and Canada. and new markets like trucks and vans. And then at the end of last year, we hit 5 million, which we were super proud of at the end of 2024. So luckily, we've been able to hold and sustain growth. And out of the geopolitical environment and the inventory issues we run into, May of just this last month was still our biggest month yet since inception. A little bit about the market. People do spend about 61 billion. This is from KOA, which is the Campground Association report. And we have about 57 million households reporting that they go camping in a year. And then since 2019, it's been about 11 million added to that. Gen Z is growing, so the younger population is really starting to enjoy the outside, but the biggest is the millennials, but that is starting to equalize, and we're seeing a lot of growth there. So why LUNO? Why did we start this company, or why does it exist? We truly found something that gives people accessibility to the outdoors. It's a bed in the back of your vehicle, and it brings a very comfortable and convenient way to sleep outside. You don't need to invest into a van. You don't need to have an RV or a trailer. It's a very simple few-minute setup, and you're protected from weather. You can lock your doors. You get a lot of people with disabilities kind of buying into this, and even solo female travelers who can feel more safe. So our main flagship product are the mattresses, which you're seeing here on the left-hand side. And then we offer that for the trucks and the vans. And then some of our flagship accessories are our window screens, which are in the top middle. These allow you to shut your doors, roll down your windows, and get that tent-like experience with airflow, privacy, and from bugs. And then another product that is a special call out is our shoe and storage bag. So if you don't want to take your shoes inside after a run or a hike, these air out on the bottom, but they're weatherproof from the top down. So that is our ecosystem. This is our flagship product. It's a mattress that, as you can see, turns your car into the bed. This is our warmest and most comfortable, and we fit over 4,500 vehicle types, and those are some of the brands that we accommodate. It's not a one-size-fits-all, so you go to our website and you put in the make, model, year, and we send you the right fit. And so we've been able to get a utility patent on this, and it's been one of our best sellers since launching it. I think it was just last year. This is the most exciting part of the company that I enjoy. This is our re-roam program, which is part of our Care Camp program. And we give a new life to every defective mattress. So every mattress that has a slight issue with it, we send it back to Bend. And then we have a local partner. His name is Jeff with Tailgate Industries. He's been monumental to kind of bringing this to market. And it's essentially giving circularity to making a good ethical business decision by upcycling our mattresses and turning them into some of the items that you're seeing here. So this is kind of just the process what we go through. It's from designing tech packs. All of our designs are made in-house. And we bring them to Jeff, and he kind of puts it in motion of cutting down the material and making it readily available to those items. So what's exciting? What's ahead? What are we looking forward to? The automotive industry is changing. EVs are becoming extremely popular. And what does that mean? You can control your climate for the first time ever. So when you're camping in your car, you can turn your heat or air to 72, and you have a comfortable sleep. So if it's really cold or really hot in the south, maybe, you no longer really have to worry about just being cooked or too cold to sleep in your car, because I'm sure we all have those stories. These EVs have big open sky windows, so you can stargaze at night. And it's just a really exciting parallel for our company and where we're seeing the automotive industry going. So I'm going to end with our ask. So LUNO is pioneering a new category. This is what we're calling VBC, vehicle-based camping, traditionally called car camping, where you have your car near or around you, but sleeping in a tent. We are truly doing car camping by setting it up inside. So think Stanley. They have reinvented thermal insulated drinkware way back in the day. We work with a gentleman named Van, and he was part of kind of bringing that to market. So we're trying to understand how to operate in retail, build brand awareness, but finding people who are connectors or industry professionals who have experience with that. Or honestly, if you do have more availability to kind of bring some other ideas with us to life, let me know. But thank you for listening.
Well done. Beautiful pitch.
Thank you.
This is such a fun brand, and I'm wondering, I know you said it's retail, so I'm assuming it's direct to consumer. Are you selling out of any retail outlets right now?
Yes, we're in Backcountry Mountain Equipment Company in Mech, Huckberry, and then a variety of mom and pop shops.
Okay, you guys are killing it. This is so awesome. I love it. Okay, questions from the crowd for LUNO. Yes, right here.
Hey. Nice to meet you, Parker.
Awesome. I was curious, so when you're selecting like countries to expand into, is it kind of based on rates of camping? Is it based on car-centric culture? Because I noticed that New Zealand, Australia, America, like they tend to import cars in Canada as well. So is that, like, how do you decide where you're going next?
Yeah, this is a great question. He wants to know, when you're thinking about expanding into other countries, how do you decide where you're going next? Are you looking at car-centric cultures? Are you looking at cultures that are already embracing camping? What helps you decide?
We've looked at inquiries mainly. So people from these other countries inquire directly to us, and we can obviously pull data from those and the frequency or the cadence of those. And then just by nature of looking at those market types and vehicles is another issue for us. Is there similarities in fitments or models sold in those areas that we can easily break into? But a variety of research on the data, looking at the camping trends. Australia was massive for us because of their overlanding community. But we have like direct inquiries that help us understand where to go next in terms of like who's reaching out.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, right here.
You mentioned there's like 4,000 and 4,500 different vehicle platforms you can custom fit to. How does that work?
Hmm.
Are you getting a 3D scan of all these cars?
Yeah, this is a fun
Yeah.
question. So he's saying, you mentioned there's like over 4,000 different um, uh, landscapes for the cars, for lack of a better word. And how do you get it right in turn? Like, are you using 3D print modeling, or how are you sorting out how to fit these cars properly?
Yeah. In the early stages, it was us going to dealerships and measuring out a couple of the vehicles with tape measures and lasers. But we know which vehicles through research that we can tailor to because of demand of how they're being used in the camping world. But we've partnered with these OEMs like Toyota, Subaru, Ford, and they can send us CAD models ahead of the time so that we kind of know the fitment. But it's a mix of scanning with 3D scanners, going to dealerships. If it's easy measurements, our tolerances are not as tight because it is an inflatable. And just kind of using the data of on-site versus the partnerships helps us out a ton.
Oh, that's great. Like, how many people are like wondering about their car right now? I know I am. Yes, right here.
Do you have a avenue right now where you offer repairs or recycle all the same? I know you do this to different products, but if the mattress on.
Yeah, this is a good question. So do you have any, do you have a mechanism for repairing the product if it runs into issues, if it has a hole or a leak? Are people able to somehow get that repaired, and are you managing that?
We don't manage the repair as a company. The economics of it have been a little bit difficult to ship it back because of the weight. It's a heavier mattress because you're not traveling in a hike mode with it. So we provide repair kits if we feel it can be repaired based on what the customer speaks to us on. Or if it is defective, we'll take it back, repair it in-house, and we'll transfer it out to them or put it to our re-roam program where we upcycle it. So patch kit or repair in-house, but give them a new one in return.
That's great. Okay, I think we have one more question. Yes.
Prior to my current company, I worked a long time at an Amazon accelerator. So I know all of that. I love getting relationships with platforms. There's a lot of trade-offs. But have you guys looked at that as a channel, or do you have an opinion?
Yeah, great question. So he has previous experience working with Amazon as a platform, has some kind of mixed reviews on the whole thing, but wondering if that's an avenue that you are pursuing.
I think our mentor, Russ Hopkus, would enjoy this question most, but he is an advocate for not being on Amazon, but we are. And you have to be careful with a brand because it can dilute it. So we only pick specific products to put on that channel, or we make unique ones that are more fitting for that audience. So, yeah. Yep, exactly. Hold brand equity if you can, really anchor that down, and then be selective on what you promote on it.
Okay, I just have one more question because I love this. So what has been your favorite part of this whole thing?
Of the company just
Yeah, this the whole experience.
I think finding a switch into a career where you work around people who just are so passionate about it. And I think the stories and the customers that share their experiences with you, like it brightens up your day big time.
Oh, I love
So,
that. Yeah, I'm happy for you. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Well, this was a beautiful pitch, and I hope you'll keep us updated. Come back and let us know how it's going in the future, and best of luck to you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thanks
much.
for being here.
All right.
Amazing pitch, LUNO. How about another round of applause for Peter? Okay, so I think this is going really well. Our events aren't possible without the support of our community partners such as TDS. Over the past years, TDS has invested nearly $100 million across Central Oregon in broadband infrastructure, working to future-proof connectivity services by ensuring the most advanced technology and robust network available. Our fiber optic network continues to expand, outpacing new business and residential growth and technology demands. As a way of giving back and to say thank you for the last 10 years serving Central Oregon, TDS recently rolled out a free upgrade to 1 gigabyte internet to all customers and serviceable addresses. This exciting upgrade serves as a testament to the infrastructure upgrades we've made over the past 10 years and TDS's commitment to providing unmatched connectivity service across Central Oregon. All right, shall we see who is next? Drum roll. ShowingUp. ShowingUp is a new app built in Bend that helps you stay close to the people who matter most. Unlike social apps built for distraction, it focuses on real-world connection. It has no ads, feeds, or tracking, and offers a simple and private way to be more intentional with your relationships. Launching soon on iPhone and Android. Joining us tonight is founder and designer Russell Wilkins, who has led consumer experience at companies like Uber, Netflix, and OpenAI. He builds intuitive, user-centered products and advises early-stage startups on design and strategy. Welcome to the stage, Russell.
Thank you. Do we have a clicker? It's up there? Okay, wonderful. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Russell Wilkins. I'm a designer and founder based here in Bend, Oregon. I'm really excited to be here talking about what we've been building the past couple of years. Okay, so just a quick bit about me. I'm a U of O alum, go Ducks. I've led product design at several companies, startups, as well as Uber, Netflix, OpenAI. And I'm now founding ShowingUp, an app that's designed to help us manage and nurture what I believe to be the most important part of our lives, our relationships. Okay, so let's do a little check-in with the crowd. Raise your hand if any of these things feel familiar to you. My life is full, but I'm still craving more time with the people that I care about. Anybody? Yeah, okay, sweet, me too. Many social apps promise connection, but they can be a little bit more distracting than helpful, AKA the TikTok black hole. Yes, awesome. All right, and so when I lose touch with someone, I can feel a little bit anxious or guilty, and that makes it harder to reach out. Anybody? Yeah, okay, it's a human experience, I get it. So these are things that I've been feeling for myself, and I know a lot of other people do as well. So I've designed something that I think is gonna help with that, and I wanna talk through it. But first, a little backstory. In 2017, I was leading a design team at a large tech company, and I would, be in a meeting or be outside of work, and I'd be thinking about one of my direct reports. I should talk to OJ about his career goals in our next one-on-one, or I should talk to Emily about this design presentation that she has coming up. And I didn't really have a place to put those thoughts. Oftentimes, they just kind of came and went. And I tried a lot of different hacks. I tried Google Docs, email, Slack, tried everything, but nothing was really built for that intentional moment of us actually coming together and spending time together. So being a designer, I hacked together a little prototype, and I made a little one-on-one digital space. So when we would come together, we knew exactly what we were going to be connecting on. All right, so this is a very obvious problem and obviously needs to have a solution. So I started looking around, and there are thousands of apps for connection, for messaging, for chatting, for sharing. But none of them really hit that chord. None of them really help me show up with intentionality and feel that sense of connection with the important people in my life. And I started noticing a bit of a deeper pattern here, that if we actually look closely at a lot of these, they're not really built from the ground up for actual intentional relationships. Okay, so with that in mind, I started thinking about what this problem actually means. And I wanted to build something that would help me with my relationships with my mom, with my manager, with my mountain bike coach, and for the things that actually mattered in those unique relationships. So next week, I'm going to be publicly launching ShowingUp. And it's an app that isn't designed intentionally around this idea of maintaining that connection and being able to show up with that intentionality. We're very excited. So we're a week out. And I want to talk through the product a bit to give you a sense of this experience. So what is it? ShowingUp's built for your one-on-one relationships. It's not social media. It's not texting. It's not CRM. It's something a little bit different. One sec. Okay. So the core of the product is the actual one-on-one space. The one-on-one space is something that you can create with any of your important relationships at work or at home. It's fully encrypted. And like you said, not ad supported. So I can't see what's going on in your one-on-one space. It's fully yours. And in the one-on-one space, it's split up into 3 intentional areas. So we have topics, things that we want to catch up on, actions, things that we want to do about it, and then wins, moments that we want to celebrate together. And again, this is built for you and one other person. Very different from social media, very different from the idea of like broadcasting. So I want to use a real world example here. This is my buddy Justin, real person. And I moved to Bend like 3 years ago. And he and I kind of lost touch. We would catch up every few months. But we decided about a year ago to actually have like a standing monthly FaceTime, just to like see what's going on in each other's world. So the way that we use the app is as the month goes by in our daily lives, I'm reminded of Justin. Oh, I want to get his feedback on this idea that I had, or we want to plan a mountain biking trip. And we add this to our shared space. So when we actually get on our FaceTime call, we're able to jump right into what matters most. And topics are sortable, so you can kind of pull whatever's top of mind to the very top. So when we hop on our call, we know right where we want to get to. And this idea of showing up with that intentionality is something that I think is really important. Now, the next section is actions. So Justin and I are on our FaceTime, and I don't know if you have friends like this, but we're just talking about a bunch of stuff. It's just going all over the place. Emphatic recommendations, crazy trip ideas. We're scheming on projects. It's just like all over the map. But we also really value follow through. And so I found out recently that Justin's considering moving to Bend with his family, and I was ecstatic. Like, oh my God, I really want to support this endeavor. And I was like, what if I put together like a list of like the top 10 family-friendly things to do in Bend? This was mid-conversation. He's like, yeah, that would really help me out. So I just took a second, I jotted it down. He was able to see that. And so we created a little bit of shared accountability in our space. So tomorrow when I follow up with him, I'm going to send him that list and create that sense of actual connection. But this is my favorite part, is the wins. All that work that we put in, that intentionality, that care, that follow through, inevitably leads to the joy of shared memories. And to me, that's what this whole thing is about, is creating that sense of memory and trust. And so for me, this is like a shared trophy case or like Polaroids on a fridge, but it's just for me and Justin. There's no broadcasting publicly. It is showing up. It's not showing off. Within the one-on-one spaces, we have some premium features. We have private notes. And the way that you think about this is like, man, I have some gift ideas, career goal aspirations, favorite flowers, their coffee order, things like that. So within the shared space, I have the ability to jot those little things down as they come up, those little noteworthy moments. Justin can't see these. These are just for me, but it's a part of our shared space. We also found out through research that a lot of people keep their Facebook account active just to be reminded about birthdays. Does anyone else? Yeah, okay, all right, cool, I see some hands, wonderful. And so we're gonna be shipping birthday reminders as part of that shared space. And then later on this year, we're gonna have other milestone reminders, work anniversaries, anything that's actually momentous that you wanna be reminded about. And during the beta over the past 6 months, we've gotten a lot of feedback where people are like, yeah, I love the one-on-one space. It's great to share with people. It's great to celebrate that relationship, but I kind of want to have a place to jot down those thoughts and celebrate myself. And that's not something I think we'd really do for ourselves as much as I'd like. And so we built Personal Space, which is basically the same framework, but designed just for you. And again, fully encrypted, so I can't be creeping around in what you guys are doing in your personal spaces. But this can be a lot. And if you think about it, I got my mom, got my Uncle Phil, got my buddy Justin, and all these other friends. So we started thinking about categories, and people kind of naturally anchor to work and home. And so on the right, we have a direct report, we have a client, we have my golf coach. These are all use cases that really work with this structure. And this gives you that sense of bifurcation. Yeah, we got my work stuff, and then we got my home stuff. So creating a connection is super easy. Like for the example, me and Justin, I moved out of state and just took me seconds to create that connection with him on the personal side. And then maybe you meet someone tonight at the pub talk. You're like, oh, I want to follow up with that person. So creating a connection is super easy. It just takes a few seconds and you're able to create that intention and make sure you don't lose track of those things that matter with that person. All right, a couple example use cases, just to kind of make this like grounded in reality. If you think about like parents and teens or kids off to college, it's a really great way to keep track of those important conversations and celebrate those little wins to help them feel seen and all the hard work that they're doing for themselves. It's fantastic for managers and employees because you're able to hear those moments of like, oh yeah, those career goal aspirations and really help inspire and nudge their growth. And then with couples especially, it's like a subtle and beautiful way to keep track of those little moments of joy, plan date ideas. Just make sure that you're always showing up for that person you care most about. All right, so we've all heard the adage, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product, and pretty much all social media, all social apps work in that realm. They kind of just basically pay for your attention. We don't do that. We're starting off with a freemium model. And the limit on the free, it's actually very useful. It's more for passive users. We only limit things like total connections and total topics, but it's still a really useful tool. But the paid version is fully unlocked and virtually unlimited. And it's an incredible tool for intentional relationship builders, professional community makers, anyone that really wants to show up for the people around them. We're also going to be exploring showing up for work, so more professional use cases, as well as leveraging some AI features later on in the year. All right, so what I need from you all, we're launching next week officially. We're still in the final stages of beta testing, so there are a few bugs here and there, but I've self-funded and built this thing from the ground up, and I'm really excited about what it can do to help us be more intentional with our relationships. So please give it a shot. Reach out to me anytime. I'll buy you a coffee, a beer. I really want to like iterate on this and make this something that works for as many people as I can. And I'm very excited about this. So thank you all for showing up today. And I'm excited to see how this supports your relationships as much as it supported mine. Appreciate
Beautifully
it.
done. This is so cool.
Thank you.
I feel like it actually does what we want social media to do, but social media isn't doing, and in fact is working against, right?
Amen.
So I have a question. If you're not broadcasting, if people aren't out there being your mouthpiece, how do you get people to hear about the product, engage with the product? Like, how do you get customers?
Yeah, so the way social apps typically work is like a virality. Like there's a novel thing, like the Yo app in like 2018, things like that. My hope is this doesn't grow that fast. I really want it to be more of like a redwood growth where my friend Adam starts trying it with his wife Hillary, and then Hillary tries it with her friend. I want to see like how that thread works because I'd rather the use cases be really grounded and really useful rather than like blowing up on TechCrunch, like, oh, download this app. So for the first like 3 months that it's out, I just want to see how it works with the communities around it.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm very impressed. Okay, questions? Yes, in the back. Yes, you.
Howdy, Patrick.
Really interesting idea. I like the stages to your interactions, and what interests me specifically is actions. I think about when I speak to some of my friends that maybe don't live nearby, and we're texting, and there's oftentimes in the conversation a lot of you should or we should do X, we shouldn't do Y, we should do Z. My question to you is, have you considered implementing any kind of either software or artificial intelligence that would suggest actions? Because oftentimes our interactions never go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
encouraging us to move towards Facebook.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. So he's saying when he's communicating with, say, a friend that's out of town, they're texting and they have oftentimes are like they have intentions to connect, and it's kind of like a we should. And he, maybe it doesn't actually ever turn into something that actually happens in real life. And he's wondering if you have kind of a plan for that in terms of using AI or something to actually help with follow up to make these things happen between relationships.
Yes, a lot of plans. So that idea right there is exactly why I wanted to present today. Is like, if you want to meet up at any point and talk about that specific use case, I'd love to learn about how you work and how anyone else works in that moment, because everyone has those we should moments. I've spent a lot of time at OpenAI. I am very excited about how AI can support those things, but I also don't want to push people or prescribe people into a certain way of thinking about following up on those we shoulds. I want to see how they do it with just like a base foundation. But there are a lot of paths. We have a lot of different options. Just a matter of what is the most viable.
Russell, you are really cool. Okay, I just
yeah,
want to
thank
say that
you.
you're really cool. So I think it's such an interesting moment for social media, right? Too, in terms of like how we're using it and what we want to do going forward, and we know it's going to change. So it's really interesting to see something like this pop up. Okay, I know I had another question for Russell. Yes, right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, are you using any sort of aggregation tool to like pull from other apps that exist, like to like fill your connections, right? Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna get sick of this question, but can you give me like one example that you're thinking about in real life?
We all hold on to that for like pictures or birthdays.
Yeah.
But I don't really know who I want to capture. So if there is kind of like Spotify, when it'll recommend like a new AI playlist, you get to go through and say, oh, keep that, don't keep that.
Okay.
So if it was, say, pulling from Facebook, it's like, hey, here's your 300 friends. Who do you actually want to keep in here?
Yeah.
Important ones that show.
Okay, so he's saying, like, for example, Facebook could you could download all your 300 friends from Facebook, and the app could say, like, we recommend connecting with these people and bringing those into this platform.
Yeah. Okay. So this is brilliant. A, and then B, the answer that I have today is different than the answer I'll have 3 months from now. But what I initially want to rely on is where people are at in this moment right now. So I actually want them to slowly add people and slowly add data that's relevant to them in their moment there. It's so easy to do like a quick pull from any API of any social platform and just get flooded with that information. Boom, you're right back to where you were. Too much, way too much. And it's really hard to like set that intentionality. So initially, I want people to do that work up front for themselves. These are the 5 most important relationships in my life. And these are the things that I want to add to them. Over time, I do think there's value in pulling in from data sets like that, but it's such a tempting thing to do to just flood people with data because that's what everyone else has done. And it doesn't seem to be working. So it's a great idea, but we got to be intentional about it. Does that make sense?
I love that. Okay, and yes, right here.
And question is, can you do groups?
Can you do groups? And second question, can you do a photo dump? So can you share photos? And can you do that maybe within groups?
Okay, so let's start with the photos. That's easier. Initially, no photo dump. You can make those little Polaroids. And the idea there is like pick the thing that captures that memory the most, like just the best. And that's what we have. That's our Polaroid on the fridge, right? You don't take 1,500 Polaroids at a party. You take a couple and you hang onto those. So eventually I want to think about media as a way to capture memories, but I don't want to just fall back on, we created an album and just threw 500 photos in there. Like I want to, again, back to intentionality. Groups, though, I'm really excited about. That's one of the first features we're going to roll out later this summer. I'm going to call it Villages. And it's going to be this like full opt-in situation where it's not like creating a group thread where I could throw everyone here on a group thread today if I wanted to. But if I create a group, Shannon and Megan, they all have to agree to opt into that group. And then if I leave the group, they have to agree to keep it. And so it's that idea of like the intentional group. What does that actually mean? That also hasn't been done in social before. That's something that we're exploring right now.
I love that. That's a great feature and a great idea. I can definitely think of an instance when I would use that. Well, obviously you have people who are very, very interested. And so I want to encourage all of you to connect with Russell and ask your questions and go get that beer and that coffee. this is awesome. And I hope that you'll come back and let us know how it went, the launch, what you've learned. Just really, really pleased. Beautiful pitch. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
So cool. You people and your wonderful solutions. I just love it. The Center for Business, Industry, and Professional Development at Central Oregon Community College is dedicating to helping local professionals and business owners achieve growth and success. With a strong reputation for high-quality, affordable education, we are committed to making professional development accessible and affordable to Central Oregon. The Center for Business offers practical training across high-impact areas such as leadership and management, project planning, and business resilience. Through the Small Business Development Center, business owners receive expert guidance on essential strategies from financial planning to market expansion at a value that fits your budget. Small management hands-on programs such as our Small Business Management Program is designed to guide you toward achieving your business goals through better organization, management, and operation of your business. If you have been in business for 1 year, have one full-time employee, and are able to produce monthly finance statements, contact us today to join our next Small Business Management Program cohort beginning this fall. And you can learn more at cocc.edu/CBIPD. So we only have 2 left. We're halfway through. Who's it going to be? Our next one up is Goal 300. Goal 300 is a climate tech company using volcanic rock dust to speed up natural carbon removal. Focused in the Pacific Northwest, their method cuts farm costs, boosts yields, and generates revenue through verified carbon credits. Joining us tonight is founder and designer Zach Price, geologist and founder of Goal 300. He brings deep expertise in earth science and a passion for scalable climate solutions. Backed by Cascade Climate and Organic Valley, his team includes leaders in geochemistry, carbon markets, and tech innovation. Welcome to the stage, Zach. Take it away.
Thank you so much. All right, that's great. All right, my notes here, everybody. Hey, well, can we give a big woot woot to Peter and Russell? Those were killer pitches. Oh, I got to use the mic. That's right. Yeah, and a big thanks to Worthy Brewing, to EDCO for growing the economy here in Bend, because we all want to live here, and all of the fellow entrepreneurs and the doers and dreamers out there. So thank you to all of you. All right. I was lucky enough in my life to have an amazing grandmother. She was a force of nature. She went to the 1936 Olympics. She graduated from Purdue as the second woman in engineering from Purdue. When she was married, she was engaged to be married, and when Pearl Harbor happened, she decided to get on a train the next day from Florida, go to California, and take a plane to Hawaii to volunteer. She traveled to over 110 countries. She was an amazing artist, an amazing scuba diver, and I'll get into scuba diving around the world. And she went scuba diving around the world, and she was really an influence in my life. And she said every day, she'd say, Zach, if you want a good life, have a character building experience every day. And this is my character building experience. And so this talk's dedicated to you. All right, I'm Zach Price. I've lived in Bend with my family for 6 years. I have a background in geology and tech, nonprofit, a lot of product management and product operations work. I'm a little neurodivergent too, so if you talk with me, I'm sure you'll figure that out. But anyway, I have a company that we've been working on since last March, and actually the ideation is before. It's Goal 300, and we are waste management for the skies. Let me get this. And who here likes to ski? Does anybody here like to ski? Okay. So let's go back. Let's see, how do we do this? There we go. All right, according to the Deschutes Land Trust, if climate change continues unabated, the Central Oregon Cascades will be a rain basin by 2080. Since 1980, snowfall levels are down, depending on where the sensors are, in the Central Cascades, 19 to 25%. So what was a great snow year like this year was just an average snow year back in the day. And so we are dumping CO2 into our atmosphere at ever increasing levels, about 40 billion tons a year, and they're the highest in 800,000 years. Humans evolved under this regime of 300 parts per million. Thus, the name of my company, Goal 300, is to get back there. So to clean up all the waste we've put in since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. So there's a lot of things we can do. There's this thing called net zero, where we are slowly decarbonizing, working to decarbonize our society. This is something that we need to do. Otherwise, we're going to have the worst climate catastrophes. Good example, people may not know this. The average high tide outside of Houston since 1980 has gone up by 8.4 inches. So we're going to have to be spending tens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars in our children's lifetimes and our grandchildren's lifetimes to mitigate something that we can handle for hundreds of billions of dollars today. The UN has recognized this. Even if we were to decarbonize tomorrow, our society, we're still going to see increased heating for decades. And even if we're getting off oil, oil is something, I worked in the petroleum industry. So we need this for our modern day life. And there are hard to abate sectors like aviation and shipping. And so to abate those sectors, we need to remove 15 billion tons a year of carbon by 2050. This is many organizations, the UN IPCC calls this out. And last year we removed less than 1 million tons of carbon dioxide. That means we have to scale this industry faster than the telecommunications industry, faster than the tech industry. It has to be the fastest scaling industry ever in the history of humanity if we're going to make this work and meet that goal of removing 15 billion tons a year. So how's climate change impacting Central Oregon? I talked to you about the snow, but also our wildfire days. The number of wildfire days are getting worse and worse. And our solution to this is we are one spoke in a wheel of carbon dioxide removal solutions and climate tech solutions. And basically what we're doing is that we accelerate the geologic carbon cycle. So right now, every time it snows or rains on volcanic rocks, that acidic water that is in rainwater is mixing with alkaline rock, and a chemical reaction happens where bicarbonates are produced. And those bicarbonates get washed into the ocean basins where they're stored away for thousands of years. And so we're taking a cycle that normally takes a long time, and we're accelerating it down to a few years. And so this is already being done on over 20,000 acres worldwide, and it's growing every year in a lot of countries. So we spread this volcanic rock on fields, which is we get this from Washington State. We have an agreement with the only active olivine mine in North America. And then we measure it moving down through the soil column and to the oceans. And this is the really difficult part. That's 95% of the work. So the great thing about this is that it's permanent and it can scale to about 2 billion tons a year. And it has a lot of agriculture and community co-benefits. So let's go back here. Hold on one second. I get too excited with the clicker. Oh, the bottom one. All right, there we go. So in field data, we're already seeing, and across the world, we're seeing great crop yield increases, and that the farmers we're working with, they spend about $135 an acre per year on liming, and we can offset most, if not all, of those costs. We're also seeing improved soil health across our plots and elsewhere. So what do? We spend a lot of time selecting the sites. We sample them to make sure that what we're seeing at a gross level from high-level soil maps and geologic maps and hydrologic maps will work. And then if they do work in the lab, we then partner with that local landowner for a long-term contract. We spread the rock, and then we analyze, and then we prove it using world-accepted leading protocols, and those are quite extensive. They're like an ISO standard. So we can prove that, and then we sell those carbon credits to large buyers, to large voluntary buyers, and eventually regulatory buyers. Right now, there's 6.5, as of earlier this year, there's $6.5 billion in carbon removal purchases that were made. On the right there, you can see some of the largest companies in the voluntary market. So you've got Microsoft, Google, JP Morgan Chase, Airbus, and a number of others. And this is growing every year. But In the United States, right now, we're in the valley of tears in this industry. So it is expected that 85% of the climate tech businesses will likely go out of business in the next couple of years. And this is because of total policy pullbacks in the United States and also massive cuts to grants and science funding. But this is an opportunity to buy at the bottom. Like my company, I always say to people, we're going to be the cockroaches that survive, and we're going to thrive. And so we are lean, and we are mean, and we are smart. But while it seems like hopeless here in the United States, the rest of the world is moving forward with regulations. It's an alphabet soup of new regulations and net zero targets coming on. So like, for example, a good example is on July 2nd, the EU is going to announce new net zero targets. In 2045, Germany just put a net zero 2045 goal into their constitution that is going to be in 2045. By mid to the end of next decade, Europe alone will be demanding will need to supply 500 million carbon removal credits. As I said, last year, less than 1 million were produced. So there's a huge gap between the actual demand that will be there and the supply. Japan's come on board. Australia, it's adding every day. Like I can't even keep up with it, how fast this is the regulatory space is actually coming, including California. Hopefully 638 passes. So goal 300 about us. We have a lot of traction. So we have over 2,500 acres under agreement, and we already have active carbon removal sites. We are one of the few companies in the world that actually has that. A lot of people talk, but we do. And so we have active, so one of our partners I'll talk about is Organic Valley. So here's the Organic Valley and FAFO, who's a partner of us. And we have agreements with a number of quarries, including the only active olivine quarry. This is our first project last year that our team was on. Let's go to that. We learned a lot in that. Humans, we're always trying to make ourselves better. So this is what it looks like when you spread olivine on a field. And we had a lot of great learnings. And with science, we are always learning and making ourselves better, finding out what we didn't do and figuring it out. So our flagship removal project, there's me working, is on an Organic Valley regenerative farm up in Chehalis, Washington. And with this, we're looking to lower the costs of carbon removal by applying automated sensors and building out really advanced models that can lower the cost in the future as we scale. So this is the current pilot that's right there. We're having our olivine delivered on Tuesday, so this will be active next week. And we're looking to expand it locally. It's got really awesome hydrology and soil profile. It's insane. So our revenue forecast, this is pretty, I'd say that this is conservative. I have no doubt we can get to $10 million of EBITDA by 2030. There's major buyers lined up. Once we can prove that we do it and it's a repeatable, scalable process, we will get there. Our team is made up of world-leading experts. One of my partners, Mike, he's a great guy. He's led 2 tech companies to IPO, so he's our partner strategist. He's our partner lead. Christiana Jeetsen, she flew over from Copenhagen a few weeks ago to work on our project, and she is one of the world-leading researchers on enhanced rock weathering and writing research papers. Everybody in the field knows her. We have a whole lab behind us who's working on this. And then Heather Langsner, have any of you ever seen those big fans in Iceland that take carbon out of the atmosphere? Well, Heather, she studied under Klaus Lochner, who was kind of the godfather of that technology. And so she's associated with our team. We also have Oregon State University Cascades. We got Scott Geddes in the chemistry department and Ron. And we're going to have undergrad students that are going to be coming and helping us out with our projects. And part of our project financing is going to be to hire a local researcher to help us out. Right now, we are raising money, and our money and what we're using it for, we're looking for impact investors who are willing to help us scale at a project level with some equity. And really what this is going to be used for, our pilot project, is to show that we can lower the costs of this process and we can make it repeatable so that we can scale to large buyers. Good example of large purchases that were made recently in the field is Aon. They got $33 million. Maddie Carbon, they just got $50 million. Another $50 million purchase from InPlanet and others in the space. So there is demand there. So once we prove that we can do it, the buyers will be there and we're going to line them up. If you're interested in finding out more about what we do, please give me a call. I'd love to talk to you afterwards. And also out there's these little baggies of dust. You can take them home. And if you have rhododendrons or coniferous trees, they'd really like that. It's a really great soil amendment.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. This is incredible. Beautiful pitch. I'm just really impressed. So this is really incredible. And you really covered a lot very quickly. So I want to go back to the farmers. So you get an agreement with Organic Valley, for example. It's no cost to the farm? Or how does that work?
No. We do this free for farmers.
Yeah.
So we come in, and those who are like the farmer we're working with, he's great. He's been doing regenerative agriculture since 1947. So he's very climate forward. So he captures methane. And Organic Valley is great. They want to make carbon negative milk by 2035.
Wow.
So if you believe in climate solutions, give Organic Valley Dairy your financial support.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm like blown away by this. Okay, questions from the crowd. Yes, back here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a great question. He's wondering if there is like an opportunity for you to like improve soil quality and then just sell great soil.
Yeah. So actually, the farmers we work with, a lot of them don't even believe in climate change. And so at my last job, I worked all over Eastern Washington and Eastern Oregon, meeting with all sorts of different people. But what they do want is greater productivity and greater revenues out of the farms that they have. And so we help lower their costs and liming costs, and we get varied amounts of different productivity. So it's a win-win.
I mean,
you don't have to believe in it.
That really, you're right. And I think that is just the reality. It's like, it doesn't really matter what you believe. Like that really speaks for itself. That's incredible. Okay, other questions? Yes, right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great question.
Well,
great question. So he's wondering, like he said, you're testing the runoff and you're testing the water, and is there any like negative effects to wildlife, or is there any kind of other effects going on?
Yeah, so we work in regulated environments, so like the Department of Ag. Our olivine actually there's a group called Oregon Tilth. It's organic certified to put on fields, and we are careful about our measurements. So in order to actually produce a carbon credit that will get purchased, we have to show no harm. That is principle number one. We have to make it better and get communities involved. So we do our applications well under thresholds that would cause any biogenic uptake of any harmful materials. But then again, most of this is magnesium. It's 49.7% magnesium. So this is something that's in all this basalt around here. So
cool. I think there was, yes, right here. And so are you designing this to sell to companies like Microsoft and other? Yeah.
Yeah, and others around the world. So last year, there were approximately 118 kind of large offtakes, and that number is growing every year. So we're making the credits available, and we will sell them at the best price that we can get with, and whoever we can get the largest pre-purchase agreement with. So a lot of the people in our field, they prove that they can mint the credits, and then they go in and they get a pre-purchase agreement, which is saying that I'll buy these in the future. So, yeah.
And so it doesn't, are there sites where it wouldn't be suitable to use this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in order for enhanced weathering to work, you have to have proximity to mineral feedstock, you have to have the right soil, and you have to have the right climate. So Western Washington and Oregon, we're the only operator of this type of technology on the West Coast. So the climatic conditions of the Willamette Valley and of Western Washington are ideal because we have over a meter of rainfall and we have really great soils. In fact, at today's rates, if we were to build out and do this on 40% of the farms in the Willamette Valley, it would have an annual value of over $1.2 billion.
It's so cool. And then I'm thinking like, so then whatever's grown in these soils is also going to improve. So we're going to get better yields. We're going to get more nutrient content for these foods. Like it's going to last longer when it's being transferred. I mean, this is
More money for rural communities.
You got me real excited, Zachary. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Please come back and let us know how it's going. And thank you for creating this. Yeah, let's give Zachary a little more love. Why not? That was amazing. Oh my God, I have chills. I love it so much. Okay, my friends, tonight's company update is brought to you by Umpqua Bank. At Umpqua Bank, our local bankers proudly serve our community by providing the expertise to help build and maintain meaningful relationships. Umpqua Bank, together for better. Last pitch of the evening. I know it's not going to surprise the actual company who's pitching, but this has really been so fun, right? My goodness, you people and your solutions. I'm very impressed. Okay. Up next, last but not least, certainly not, Mr. Mr. offers a fresh, fast-acting, and discreet alternative to traditional nicotine products. The compact format produces no smoke, vapor, or waste and fits seamlessly into daily life. By rethinking how nicotine is delivered, Mr. helps shift the conversation toward harm reduction and away from outdated stigma. Joining us tonight is, let's see here, Ricky Lee and Michael Salmon. Thank you so much for being here. I've got one microphone here, and then I've got another one for you as well. Here is your clicker. Take it away.
Thanks for sticking it out, guys. You know, that's pretty good effort here. My name is Ricky. This is Michael, and we are excited to put our 40+ years of go-to-market experience behind a brand new product. It is a nicotine mouth spray. First things first, nicotine is not tobacco. I don't know if anybody here knows that, but I didn't know that when we first got started in this whole endeavor. So tobacco kills 480,000 people in the US every year. That's pretty bad. But when you strip the tobacco out of the nicotine, or strip the nicotine from the tobacco, it is way less harmful for you. And so you actually get to keep the benefits of increased focus or alertness or memory, and without the baggage, right, of the health risks. So it's much closer to caffeine as just a stimulant than it is to tobacco. So we realized that like nicotine's not actually the problem. The delivery method is. Cigarettes, chew, vapes, those are all pretty harmful for your health. And it's actually gotten to the point now where there's people like Dr. Huberman and Dr. Lyon that are publicly talking about the benefits of nicotine by itself, that it can increase your memory, your cognitive function, and your focus and alertness and metabolism and quite a few things. So we're excited to be stepping into this space to create a brand new product.
So as you just heard from Ricky, ultimately nicotine is going through a rebrand. Traditionally, as we looked into this, there were pretty much two verticals. Can you show the next one? Oh, it's not going. Sorry. Typically with nicotine, you've got high health risk, or health risk and stigma are the two major things attached with this. So when you go back to the originals of like dip, cigarettes, those all carry the highest version of both of those. The market demanded something better, then came along vapes. Very quickly, we all realized that vaping wasn't much healthier and actually could potentially even be worse. But what we did see is the revenue pouring into these markets really showed that there was a desire for something better. Then came along pouches, Zins, Ons, all of the like, right? They really did it. They gave us something much cleaner, but still there was a stigma attached with it. You know, we've all got people around us now that we probably know that use them, loved one, friends, but as they use them, you can see that nobody's excited to share that they use them. They're all hiding behind something. They're all taking it out and stashing it whenever they can. So for us, we realized there's a giant opportunity here to give users something that is stigma-free and something that's quite a bit healthier. And so with that, we created Mr. Nicotine Mouth Spray. It is the healthiest, most stigma-free option that'll be available on the market. And really for our goal, it was allow the users to take their nicotine wherever it is that they need it, whether it's at the office, out on a trail, for a run or a bike, long haul flight, or even the busy mother just trying to fit it in amongst all the other crazy and chaos that she has going on in her life. So we've taken roughly about 6-7 months right now. We've been going through all this formulation. We're getting really close. We're really excited what we're coming to market with. But for us, it's imperative to keep this as clean as possible, all food grade ingredients outside of the nicotine. And we're coming out with 5 different flavors, something that could hopefully fit the need and desires for most people out there. And so, yeah, we think you'll like it.
So now the business case. You'll see on the green line here, those are US sales. It reached $90 billion a year last year. And worldwide, it's $854 billion a year goes into nicotine products. The big bars here, you'll see the red one is cigarettes. So it peaked in the 1960s. This is US adult use by percentage. So it's been in steady decline and continues to be, as it should be, right? Tobacco is very bad for you. What you see in the blue and the purple bars here are vapes and pouches, and those are growing at an incredible rate as people switch. And last year was actually the first year that we saw a slight increase in nicotine consumption in the US since the 60s because of the growth of the pouches and the vapes. So there's clearly a market here. So to kind of summarize where we're at right now, there's a few tailwinds that we're stepping into. People have obviously shown a willingness to switch from tobacco dip to non-tobacco nicotine products like vapes and pouches. Nicotine's obviously going through a rebrand. Hopefully we hit some of you tonight and let you know that tobacco is not nicotine. And then also just that whether you believe we might go into a recession, it may happen in the next couple of years. Vice products like nicotine are incredibly recession resistant. So we feel pretty protected from that side.
So cool. Now you may wonder, why us? How are we the ones to pull this off? Ricky and I've been doing, we've been in the go-to-market cycle now together collectively for quite some time. Him from the marketing and e-commerce side, myself from the product side. So we've been there. We both started our own startups in the past. We've been a part of high growth startups, most recently Puff and Drinkware here locally that maybe some of you know about. And so one of the major things that we've learned through that is, get the right people in the room. And for us, we're really proud of the team that we've built for this, our team of advisors. We've got world-class experts in the tobacco space, from legal, science and regulation, or science and regulatory, sales, and as well as marketing. And then we've also got top-class executive advisory, as well as financial assistance. So we're really excited. For us, it was really imperative to build this extremely solid foundation so we have something to scale on and making sure we're going about it the right way.
So our ask, we are actively raising capital. So if any of you are accredited investors or you happen to know somebody who is, please come chat with us after the presentation. Any connection's a good connection at this point. We're networking the hell out of it.
Yeah, and as we're wrapping up our product development phase, if you yourself or know anybody that is a current nicotine user and they are local and would like to get some free product and be part of our test group, we'd love to love to have you involved.
Great. That's our presentation.
Amazing.
Thank you so
I'm going
much.
to join you on stage. I think we really...
No, I can step down.
No, I mean, we have a nice
yeah.
matching outfits. That's cute. This is incredible. So I want to talk a little bit more about, because you have these, like Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, she's amazing. And I know she does talk about nicotine use. And so can you just tap in a little bit more on kind of the benefits to using it, just expand on that?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of studies that are happening now and some that have recently come out that have actually proven that nicotine's good for Parkinson's patients, which my mom is one of those, and also Alzheimer's patients because it increases cognitive function. So those are actually some use cases where maybe someone that has never used nicotine would start. But in general, we're aiming to get current nicotine users to use our product just because it's so much safer.
Amazing. Okay, I have a question. Yes, right here.
So
Mhm.
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 Yeah, so this is a really good question. She mentions that Jewel got into a lot of trouble by making these like very appealing flavors. And do they appeal to young people? You have flavors like berry in your lineup. Are you at all concerned about how that might be perceived?
Yeah, specifically, we've coming to market with a unflavored or natural flavor per se, as well as tobacco, because tobacco is the one flavor that is still allowed. So you do have markets like California where there are flavor bans, and those are the two that we have available to be able to enter those markets and be available. So I think for us, with the use of this, it is similar to pouches. I don't think the youth is really the biggest issue, for us. But as far as our natural, that is currently what we're using for our kind of our test horse, and very palatable. So we feel really confident with being able to go out there without flavors, even if we are just going with the unflavored for somebody, that it'll still fit the build for them. And we're trying really hard as far as the profile of the flavor in the mouth for it to be very minimally invasive, get in and get out as quickly as possible. We understand an environment like this, as everybody's enjoying full flavored beers, if somebody still wanted to use our spray, that it wouldn't impede on the beer that they're about to take a sip with next.
And you'll never see Mr. do like a cotton candy or like anything ridiculous like that. And Jewel was pushing that hard.
Yeah, so we're not putting like Mickey Mouse on the packaging or anything. Okay.
No bubble gum.
Gotcha. In the back, Chris.
Parkinson's.
Oregon, Stroke Awareness Oregon.
Mhm.
And that's also nicotine is in doses, smaller doses. What you're presenting here is something for ischemic strokes to help in that recovery as well. So
Yeah.
very, very interesting.
Very cool. So he is, Chris is speaking to his work with advocacy work for stroke patients. And there's also some indications that small doses of nicotine is helpful and can be indicated in that case.
Yeah, nicotine does slightly increase your blood pressure. So maybe it's in alignment with that. It's something to do with that. But yeah, we haven't actually come across that one. So thanks for sharing.
Excellent. Okay. Yes, right here. Have you gained FDA approval?
We are working on it. It is a very long process. That's actually
Clinical trials?
Yep, we're doing clinical trials, the full gamut, because this thing's being built for acquisition, long term. The big guys never innovate, right? The Philip Morris's did not come out with the pouches. They bought the pouches, but they're quickly trying to diversify and get away from tobacco products because they're killing people. And so, yeah, the FDA actually tightly regulates this and will fall into those regulations as well.
When do you think it will go before an advisory panel?
Yeah, so right now, currently raising capital to fund that venture is the critical stage for us. As you saw, as far as our team of advisors that we do have a member from Interscientific Regulatory Sciences Committee, where they're the ones that actually run the studies and do all the testing and do the user interaction studies. So for us, that's right now it's getting the capital because that is a very costly endeavor.
Possible to file a 510K based on like a product like
as far as like the likeness of and like the precedent set prior, there's been some conversations around that. We were just at Next Gen Nicotine Conference down in Miami, which is fully regulatory, big tobacco, FDA, whatnot. There's been a lot of those discussions, and it's pretty in depth because on both sides it's a risk, because if you are going fully into that process and they don't accept it due to that stance, they kick you right back to the beginning of the line. So it's an option, but everything's being considered.
Yeah, they generally don't like it at the FDA because even a flavor might react differently with the population at large.
Very good. And right here.
Near as I can tell, the only negative characteristic was addictive, which I guess exercise can be addictive. Is nicotine considered a carcinogen?
Okay. Yeah, this is a great question. So he said, as far as he could tell, the only kind of downside to this is that it could potentially be addictive, as many things, even exercise could be. Is it a carcinogen?
No. Next question. Yeah, no, it comes with some minor health risks like increased blood pressure for somebody that is already high blood pressure, they probably shouldn't do it. It also vasoconstricts. So if you do a lot of nicotine, it can like cause some skin issues, I guess, on the long term, but nothing that will like seriously harm you.
Okay. Yes.
Do you have any like protection against other brands that can come out with similar device, like say Zyn were to launch a liquid flavor?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is a great question. He wants to know if you have any like protections in place if, say, for example, Zyn launches a product that's very similar to your product.
Yeah, very much a risk, right? Just like pouches. We've spoken to distributors and they're like, weekly we get 10 to 20 new pouch companies coming at us. You go to Champs Trade Show or something like that in Vegas, and you've got thousands of pouch companies out there who are all completely illegal. So for us, going that FDA path and getting kind of that stamp of approval, it is a permit for us to be nationwide in all the right places legally. But really, this is about a land grab, right? So for us, as a company, we've stayed really tight-lipped about us. This is really our first outward public event that we've done about this, because it is about being the Kleenex, being the Zyn, getting out there, getting that land grab, being the known ones, and really being the number one acquisition target. Formulation, yes, it is not simple. We've been going through this for quite some time with really top-notch laboratories. So there is a little bit of the differentiation in the formulation that you can do, but ultimately, like cigarettes, like beverages, anything like that, it's really just about building that brand properly.
Okay, so do the two of you use it? Have you been using it and experimenting with the product?
Yeah, experiment, yeah.
And
It's delicious. Yeah, there actually is one spray on the market that is for smoking cessation. It's a Nicorette product. It's not actually available in the US, but it's available in Canada and the UK. You can only buy it at pharmacies, sometimes with a doctor's prescription, because it's supposed to get you to stop smoking. And we found some bootleg ones on eBay.
Mhm.
It tastes horrible. So we think that that's, the easiest differentiator there. And they're $40 for a unit because it's a medicinal type product.
And then I noticed that the delivery system, is this something that's refillable? Do you buy like a refill cartridge or?
No, this will just
Okay.
it'll be disposable, but ultimately what you're getting is about 4 cans of pouches in one of these. So you're saving from the waste of the 3 other containers as well as all the used product coming out of it. So it's something we thought long and hard of, and to keep the price affordable for the user, we decided just to make it disposable.
Amazing. Okay. This is really fascinating, and I love your pitch, and thanks for being here. And I hope that you'll come back and give us an update after you've gone to market and you've got a little more to share. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So thank you. This is
Thanks so
great.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
How about another round of applause for Mr.